Tesla is a very unique company. They've got big fans and big haters, and a polarizing CEO who is not afraid to speak his mind. But what is it about the company that makes them so very different? We're going to discuss that today real quick with Kristen from X, known as K10. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So we are back with part two, Kristen. So great of you to join us again.
Yes, thank you.
It's wonderful. I enjoy hanging out with you, both, on this little box, this little square that we're stuck in, but also when we've met at events. Most recently in Austria, which was so wonderful. So many great people there.
Yes.
Anyway, for those who don't know who K10 is, she's one of the original Tesla boosters. She's one of the people who found some love for the company early on and said, I got to get the word out. She's had a chance to interview Elon Musk himself, along with the rest of the Third Row podcast, in a video that I would say is pretty famous, but you can be the judge of that. There will be a link in the description below, so you can check it out. What got you in? So we're going to discuss in a moment why Tesla is so different, but what got you in? What got you following and passionate and made you the advocate you are?
So I think I grew up, so I love chemistry, I love nature, I love the environment. And I was part of the early recycling club, the environment club in my junior high and high school, back when there was none. We were starting those, and very aware of just where things were going, and watching the amount of trash that in 100 years that are the people that are around right now we're accumulating, and realizing that at the level that we're polluting, it's not okay. And then to see Tesla come around and somebody to do it right and actually gain momentum, it was really encouraging. So I wanted to get behind it. I just wanted to support it. It was really exciting to watch, and I thought, I want to get behind a leader. I want to get behind a company and support it. It seemed like it needed some words to get out. And I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with it. It was just the right time in my life, and just kind of threw myself into it. I was taking classes in chemistry at that time, and I don't know, it just all came together, I guess. I don't know. But whatever I get involved in, I kind of lose myself in. So I went in full force. So,
I think that might be a trend among people who do what we do.
Yes.
We are not dip the toes in the water kinds of people. And there are people who I've seen join the, Tesla universe who are those kinds of people. And then they go, I don't have this kind of time.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at a company like Tesla, I went ahead and pulled up, let me share this. I thought this was kind of funny. I was looking up news headlines from today, and what I found was, this is pretty neat. This is just Tesla headlines, right? And look at all that. And of course,
oh God.
And of course, 107,000 results from the past 24 hours. And I thought that can't be right. Let me check the past year, and it is 65 million results.
Wow.
In the past year, and we're in the news tab. So this is
Google.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That is not a normal amount of coverage of anything. You have to get to a topic as broad as film or technology to find numbers like that.
Right.
What is it about Tesla that's so unique?
Well, for a while there, everyone was saying that Tesla was, it was the Goliath taking on the David the giant, or the other way, David taking on the Goliath, excuse me, the giant. It was the underdog pushing against the oil industry, and the oil industry is powerful. There's a lot of people involved, a lot of different, companies. So I think it rattled things. I think people thought it was just going to be this little niche thing, and it ended up being this huge thing. And it really, look at Toyota. Toyota's trying to do, hydrogen, and it's laughable right now. And they've invested in that quite a lot. And EVs are actually making such a difference that China is like fully committed in EVs. And a lot of the legacy automakers in the US are challenged to make EVs, and people don't want ICE vehicles as much. I think the whole climate change and everything like that, people are questioning what's good to do. I don't know. But I don't know. there's a lot of conspiracies and different ways we could go about this explaining it. So what do you think, Brian? How do you explain that?
For me, what it is, I was excited to watch the factories go up.
Right.
Would I have watched if it was someone else's factory? Probably not.
You're
I
right.
guess Tesla was unique in that regard. They did a lot of things early on that I looked at and shook my head and said, that's dumb. That's the wrong path. And no, it is. Well, think about it. Yeah, you can convert a glider to electric like the Lotus and make the
Right.
Roadster, but you can't, you're going to build your own car. That's a mistake. You can't do it. No company has succeeded in that in the Western hemisphere in the last 60 years.
Right.
Well, and now we're going to build our own battery factory. Why? That's a mistake. You just buy batteries, man. But it turned out that, of course, the Model S was critical to the company's survival. Of course, the Giga Nevada was critical to having the supply of batteries needed to make the Model 3 and get it ramped. And now you're going to go to China? I don't know, man. This seems like a pretty crazy idea, but they got their own ownership. That was new. So for me, what it was is watching all of these crazy, bold ideas actually pay off, actually work.
Right.
He can see, some people can see beyond the horizon. I've
Right.
seen examples of you and I looking beyond the horizon and being correct. But I am not a time traveler. And I think the evidence is there. Tony Seba, definitely a time traveler. That's not up for debate. Elon might be as well, because the putting all the Model 3s on lease where you could not take possession at the end, you had to give it back. It's a
Right.
crazy idea. Well, no, the robotaxi network wasn't ready, but guess what? There's a shortage, and now we can sell these cars for as much as we sold them for the first time.
Well, yeah.
And that made the margins artificially high, but because you were selling the same car twice. But that's a different matter. Why are people so excited? In the comments, I would ask you guys, why are you so excited? Why are you watching this video? This is crazy. If this conversation was happening about Apple, which I would regard as the second most exciting company in terms of its fan base,
Right.
there's so much enthusiasm behind so much of what Apple does. This doesn't happen. There is no AppleCon held by fans around the world.
Right.
In all these different countries, and people out there doing Apple light shows. No, that's not a thing.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so true. At the Michigan event, I got to meet a gentleman named Devin. And Devin came up with, before the event was starting, we're just getting set up, and he introduces himself. He's a big fan. He's, oh my gosh, Dr. Know-It-All's here, and Dr. Scott Walter, and oh my gosh, all of you guys are here. I don't believe it. We're like, well, we're just glad you could make it. And he said, make it? I was driving home from my mom's house, and I look over and saw too many Teslas in one spot. And I thought, what is going on? So I just stumbled into this, and you guys are all here. So shout out to Devin. We adopted him for the day, gave him the full
Nice.
treatment. It was pretty fun. He just stumbled onto it. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing with other brands.
No.
What's going on? What is in our drinking water? I must know. There are always new things coming up. There are always new projects. There are always new directions. Which of those moonshots are you most excited about?
Oh gosh. That's
I know, right?
we're Tesla nerds. It's like asking me to choose one. And I have
Right.
too many. Gosh. Well, honestly, moonshots. I mean, that means it's kind of far out there. Like,
Well, Wall Street would still call autonomy a moonshot. I don't
Right.
think you and I would.
right.
I would say I'm not excited about that because it's so soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a question of if, it's a question of how do we sort out the details.
Right.
I would say things like Dojo as a service are still on the horizon far enough out. The bot is still far enough out.
Right.
Some of these other services, Robotaxi, I would put a little separate from autonomy generally.
Right.
I mean, autonomous semis.
Right.
Do you know what's going to happen to the
Caravans.
cost of
Yeah.
shipping goods when we don't have drivers and we don't have to stop for 10 to 14 hours a day? You'll be able to move goods coast to coast in 48 hours without paying any kind of premium. And the per mileage fuel is less.
Right.
And now we don't need a cab, so the truck weighs less and can carry more cargo. It just cascades. All of these things. Which one are you most excited about?
Gosh, see, I know. Really watching the light go on for the rest of the world when Robotaxi and FSD go out would probably be the most exciting for me. But I mean, I am hankering to see Optimus in manufacturing. Those bots just implemented in droves, and to see what that changes. Because I mean, if you can build them, I mean, maybe something like, I don't know how much it would cost to make it, at least 10 grand. Consider the
Yeah,
salary of the average worker and how much less you have to pay. I mean, there is maintenance on the bot, but man, that's going to cut costs a lot. So,
maintenance that can be performed by each other.
right.
I had there's a X account called Digital Habitats. He sent me a article he was about to release and said, I want your feedback. This
Right.
is my analysis of what bots are worth. What do you think? And I said, well, it's so far beyond the horizon. My information won't be terribly valuable. But what I would say is you are assuming the cost of the bot way too high and the
Huh.
revenue way too low. And he
Right.
said, I had to, because when I used the numbers that I thought were real, it was insane.
Wow.
And even with, he was saying, well, the bots, what if they cost 50 to 100,000? And I'm like, that's too high. He goes, I know,
Yeah.
but even if they did, they're still worth it.
Yeah.
Even if they're half the speed of of a human counterpart,
Yeah.
they're still much more productive over the course of a day. So
Right.
if I can dream for just a minute, what will get not me excited, but humanity excited is watching a starship land on the moon
Yes.
and a flock of bots crawl out and build a moon base.
Yes, this is funny you say this because I was predicting this back in, like, you can't, I mean, you can't, it's hard to look up the tweets, but 2019, 2018, I was
Wow.
saying that. Why in the world? I mean, why would we not use bots? I mean, for Mars, obviously, I'm sure a lot of us did think that. Why would we not use a robot to build Mars? Like when it could work overtime. So it's obviously part of that plan. But the moon base, yes, that needs to be built. I mean, look at, we're going to
First,
disassemble the ISIS or the
it's a
ISS. Yeah.
great proof of concept, and
Right.
definitely a Mars base needs to be ready when we get there. But a moon base, you could just land chunks of it, and humans could do that. It's close enough. It's not
Okay.
nearly as challenging as Mars, which is
Yeah.
so far away, and there's the margin for error is zero. There is no margin for error, so it would
Right.
need. But the first step, build it on the moon. Let's watch. Let's watch this go together. It's going to be insane.
It's a good moonshot,
So
Brian.
I love it. I love it. And I thank you for hanging out. It's
Yeah,
so
thank
nice that we were
you.
finally able to catch up. We were going to do this sooner, but you were traveling and I was traveling, and this just worked out. I'm actually getting back on the road
Perfect.
in 48 hours
Nice.
to head to Monterrey, Mexico, to check out some of the
Nice.
parts and factories and automotive stuff going on
Ooh,
there.
this will be really good.
So
I'm
that will
looking forward
be.
to that video.
I am looking forward to it too. Hopefully, I can get enough of these experts to appear on camera.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, the more expert they are, the less willing they are to put their face on camera with and endanger their jobs. So
Yeah.
we'll see
You'll,
how it goes. We'll see
you'll
how
have to
it
do that
goes.
silhouette and muted voice or the.
That would be hilarious.
It would
No,
be.
what I'll do is just put them slightly out of focus. There, you're blurred.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What do we misunderstand? Why are you so enthusiastic about this? What is your moonshot that you think would be the most exciting and still possible?
Yeah.
A huge thanks to Kristen,
Thank
K10
you, Brian.
on X. I will slap a link in the description, of course. Follow her if you're not already. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the moon.